y'all, this is Marley K. Hope y'all are well. Got a story that I want to share with you from NBC News. It came out on yesterday, December the 18th, 2023 at 9:22 p.m. This story is highlighting how the media is being used to create all these different divides. Now, this story in particular is about how young voters are bailing on Biden and whether they'd come back. But, it's still another slither of the Republican versus Democrat um, divide. Then you have the age group, young versus old. Then you have the ideology groups, the liberals versus conservatives or whoever else. And then you add the race component, the racial components, um, white versus white in the white coalition, which is everybody else that works in uh, confederacy against the black people or African American people in this country. And while there are some other subgroups with mixed up in there, at the end of the day, everybody works for white supremacy, including a lot of black people. But most of the laws and policies in this nation are anti-black. So that's why I referenced that particular group the way that I did. But the point of this particular video is just to show you, excuse me, how the media is forming all these different divisions among American citizens so that it is easier to conquer us. We're going to be divided in so many different factions and so many different groups about so many different things and not liking each other. We won't fight together. We won't fight the tyranny. We won't stand for nothing. We'll be so distracted with our little, area of focus. If you're focusing on politics, which ain't worth a hill of beans because it's not going to save us from anything, you're missing all the other stuff as far as the economic collapse, the beast infrastructure being set up, and war, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And some people might be paying attention to this Israel, Gaza Strip, Hamas war because it is front and center in the media, but they're not talking about all the other aspects of war to include our nations or this nation's, not I'm saying our because it ain't mine, this nation's role in all these other wars that are hot all over the earth. There's so much stuff going on that is really insane, but I just want to show you how this play out. And this is why that movie, by the time April hits, when this Civil War movie is going to come out, you will see why it's out. You'll be able to see clearly how and why this movie was made because all of the chaos is being orchestrated so that they'll have the outcome that they want. And so I want to share this with you so that you don't get caught up in it and so that you can see the big picture like I see it. So here they're talking about the young voters. Jaden Camarena in Northern California is contemplating blowing off the 2024 presidential election, like the rest of us. Evan McKenzie in Battleground State, Wisconsin, is looking for any other candidate than the current frontrunners. In Philadelphia, Prue Carmichael isn't even convinced this race matters. These young voters live in different cities, work different jobs, and have varying political beliefs. But among the things they have in common, they voted for Joe Biden in 2020, and now they say the president can't count on their support in 2024, which is significant. And I'm finally glad that they're starting to talk about other people being dissatisfied because there is this constant pull to have Black people have an opinion about everything. And y'all know my philosophy is Black people need to mind Black folks' business. If it ain't about Black people in particular, things that are going to strengthen our community and be really substantive in this collapse, let it ride. It's not our business. We don't have no, if it's outside of this country, we ain't got no money. We ain't got no army. We ain't got no weapons. We don't have no food supply. We don't have nothing to help nobody. We ain't hardly got long to live. Just the truth be told. So we don't, our opinions really don't matter in the small scope of things. Our opinions really do matter because the world knows that we are a chosen people, a gifted people, a special people, and our opinions do matter, but they continually try to make us feel as though they don't matter so that we can feel inferior, so that we can stay in our roles in this social hierarchy in this country and around the globe because they need us to be inferior. They need us to think inferior. They need us to be powerless because that's how they stay on top and rule over us. So the fact that Black people are being quiet and we're disengaging and really truly for the first time in a long time coming out of this system, it is shook because that's not what we usually do. We don't take to the streets. We didn't take to the streets when they rolled back affirmative action. We didn't take to the streets when they didn't pass the crime bills that we asked for. We didn't take to the streets when they started chipping away at the Voting Rights Act. We just done. We understand what's happening. This is the end of the empire. They ain't gonna do nothing for us. They ain't done nothing for us all this time. They ain't gonna do nothing for us now. And we also see how this country has done a whole lot to build up every other nation or every other racial slash ethnic group and open the border so different groups of people can come here, and imported people from war zones so that they can come here and make this new melting pot. But they still never took care of us African American Black people. They never gave us our 40 acres and a mule. They never gave us reparations. So Black people are like waking up and like, wait a minute, I'm out. Well, of course, without our influence, everybody else is starting to wake up too. And so now you see all these different people, these different groups talk about their dissatisfaction. And I think it's powerful because it speaks to the power that we African American people have, but also it just speaks to the state of politics and the state of this nation in general. Like, it's, if the young people don't believe in it, they don't see any need to support either party, then it's done. Like, what are you here for? And so that is where we are. That's the goal, but that's where we are. And so again, all those things lead to the divisions that will lead up to this nation going into civil war, us fighting each other, hating each other, not recognizing that um, you know we should be sticking together. We should be repenting, crying out, turning from our sins, and trying to live holy so that we can receive some grace and mercy when wrath comes. But no, most people can't see the big picture. And so they're going to fall right into this category of being torn and pulled to one side or the other. And then next thing you know, civil war breaks out. Then you got to try to figure out how you're going to get out of that. So it said these oh, I'm sorry, I already read that. So it says, I genuinely could not live with myself if I voted for someone who's made the decisions that Biden has, said Mackenzie, a 23-year-old working at Starbucks and as a union organizer in Madison, Wisconsin. I didn't even feel great about voting for Biden back in 2020, he said. The feeling helps illustrate why Biden's ratings and support among young voters have dipped noticeably in recent polling. In November, NBC News national latest national poll showed Biden locked in close competition with former President Donald Trump at the moment for voters ages 18 through 34. A sharp drop from the margins Biden enjoyed over Trump in the 2020 election, according to exit polling. So now people can't say nothing about racism in Donald Trump because he's like been sidelined between all his legal stuff and the media not really having any sound bites to use. So you can only focus on Papa, and Papa has like been like a nursing home patient. In addition to giving away so much stuff, and our people here are hurting, instead of redirecting the resources that they're sending to war and outside of the country, they are focusing on this new, say, this globalist agenda. And so people are starting to see it. People are waking up. But unfortunately, it's too late. When we tried to warn about this, not that it would have made any difference, but back in 2020, when people had a choice, they chose to follow up the racism and not look at Papa's record. And Papa's record was what it is now, but folks just ignored it because they thought racism, or the threats of racism, would be um, a driving factor and things would change. Well, nothing has changed. Nothing is ever going to change because this is just a racist nation, and people do what they do because they're allowed to. So it says, we've been seeing this in our data and focus groups actually since May, said Ashley Aylward, a senior researcher at the Democratic polling firm HIT Strategies. And to me, it's because the 2024 campaign season for Democrats hasn't started yet. Polling a year out from an election is a snapshot in time, and Biden and his party have time to bring young voters back into the fold. But Aylward and others said it will take work. See, they always want to bring you back in at the last minute. That's how you know they don't give a crap about you. This is the alarm bell that we needed to make sure that not only the Biden campaign, but every other Democratic operative out there and all the campaigns down the ballot, state and local, actually invest in young people because we know how much they can change the outcome, Aylward said. So, anyway, I just wanted to share with you that this campaign season is going to be so different than all the others. I don't know what they're going to do about Papa. I honestly think Papa is going to be impeached and he's not going to be a factor. I think the Democratic Party is going to be in such a disarray that they're not going to be successful anyway because they're just going to look like a corrupt group of enablers and incompetent and greedy, because the majority of them folks, the identity thieves, are Democrats. A lot of them. So, just understand what's happening. This country is setting us up for a civil war. They're already, they're saying black people won't support Biden. Now it's young people won't support Biden. This group won't support Biden. And when you don't do this, what does the other side say? Well, come over to our side. And then your people on your side who want you to vote for this and not vote for what they perceive as racist will say, well, if you don't vote for this, then you're supporting that, and they want you to support the lesser of the two evils. So it's just going to be very tumultuous. I want y'all to gird your loins, hold on to your underwear, get your popcorn, and be ready for whatever, because there are a lot of things that will lead up to this call for civil unrest, or that will lead to civil unrest, in addition to just whatever they're preparing for us. But this election season is going to be like none other. So don't focus on it from a you can do something about it perspective, because there's nothing you can do. This story about the demise of this country was already written long ago, and it is just prophecy and planning being fulfilled. But what you can do is pay attention and stay out of the fray. Try to wake up as many people around you as you can, and make sure that um, you try to teach people about how these systems are broken, they don't work, and the end or decline of civilizations, because this is one of the red flags for a decline in a civilization. And unfortunately, too many people don't know anything about that. So by the time they figure it out, it's going to be too late. But We'll be having to fight by then. So y'all get your stuff together. Try to stay out of the fray. Try to stay out of those streets. Um, don't do what they want you to do. It's easy to get all spun up about, these sensational topics that the news media presents to us. But in everything, think about why is this here? Just think about, you're constantly being bombarded with predictive programming. That's not the word that I want to use, but I'm just going to say predictive programming. You got to ask yourself, why am I seeing this? Why are they showing this to me? What do they want me to see? How do they want me to feel? How do they want me to react? Because everything that you're seeing now is it has a purpose, and not to educate you and help you be more informed. If anything, it's quite the opposite. They want you to be ignorant and not know the truth. So with that said, just understand this whole Biden versus Trump, this young versus old, this black versus white, this POC versus black, all these different things, woke versus non-woke or liberal, red versus blue, all these things are just going to be distractions, but also things that cause the simple-minded to take sides and be against their fellow citizens, when we should be united and fighting the bad people. So, with that said, please like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification so that you'll be notified each and every time I upload new content, and make sure you hit all so that every time I upload something, you will get a notification. If you are subscribed to the channel, please make sure you are still subscribed. You may want to unsubscribe and resubscribe if you have not been receiving notifications. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Odyssey, and Rumble. Links for all those social media platforms are in the description. In the event that this channel is taken down, those are platforms that I will use to communicate with you as long as the internet is up. Finally, please, please, please support the channel by using the links in the description. You can buy coffee or you can Venmo me. Keep prepping, keep praying, keep your head on swivel, because the enemy is busy trying to divide us so that they can conquer us. But we ain't going to be conquered. We're going to be rescued out of here. That is the goal. We are trying to endure to the end, and we are trying to keep a positive, open mind so that we will not get sucked into the fray. All right, this is Marley K, and I'm out.